Guys, let me go ahead and move on to topic number two. Topic number two for the Movie News Roundup show tonight. And that is talking about Harry Potter. Looks like we're going to get a TV series headed over to HBO Max, and they need all the help they can get. Larry, I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan, but I have the article pulled up right here from Variety.
The perfect segue talking about people in cancel culture with with what's her name and the whole Harry Potter and her anti-trans stance. Woo.
Right. That's actually in here. But it says from Variety, Harry Potter TV series in early development at HBO Max. It says a Harry Potter series is in the early development at HBO Max. Variety has learned from sources. Rumors that show set within the wizarding world have persisted for some time. Now it seems those plans are moving ahead. Though no writers or talent are currently attached to the project, sources say conversations have taken place with multiple writers on the potential series. There's no word yet on what the focus of the show would be or what part of the Harry Potter timeline it would focus on, or should it move ahead. There are no Harry Potter series in development at the studios or on the streaming platform, Warner Brothers and HBO Max said in a statement to Variety. Through multiple sources have confirmed that the project is in very early stages. Larry, what I know we've talked about HBO Max a lot in the past few weeks because they decided to release all of these films right here for 2021 in theaters and on HBO Max at the same time. But how are you taking this news right here? Do you care? Are you a Harry Potter fan? Have you seen the films? Go ahead, brother. The floor is yours.
I am actually a Harry Potter fan. I've seen all the films. I've read some of the books, not all of them, because they're just so long. You know, I mean, yeah, they're just so long. And as you know, I see little kids with them and they knock out like an 800-page book in like a week. And that's fine when you're a kid, but when you have stuff to do,
right.
It takes a long time to get through it. But yeah, I enjoy the movies. I enjoyed them a lot, and I would be cool with the series. I hope that, I would like only if the series maintains the same sort of production values that the movies did. I wouldn't want it to become TVized if and I see more and more where they're making TV series that have the same production values as the movies. And I'm cool with that.
Right.
My real and the reason why my concern is, and my reason why I think that they probably haven't had any names attached to it just yet, and they're not announcing anything yet, is because they have the problem with J.K. Rowling and her positions with her anti-trans stances and how much Hollywood is sort of anti-J.K. Rowling's right now. And I mean, let's just be real. Hollywood is all about. There's a lot of gay people, a lot of trans people, a lot of gay and trans friendly people in Hollywood. There's also a lot of closeted anti-gay and anti-trans people in Hollywood too. And so I think there's going to be a lot of people willing to make deals with her. They're just going to try and do it quietly.
Yeah, it says here in the same article, but the Harry Potter world has not been without controversy. Franchise creator J.K. Rowling received tremendous backlash due to a series of anti-trans tweets and a lengthy essay on the subject in June of last year. Then Johnny Depp, who was also played the Dark Grindelwald in The Fantastic Beast, he exited the franchise as well. But I don't think he's going to be a part of this. But yeah, man, you like you were saying in the last one, with all this social media, you got to watch what you say when you're online. You can't be making anti-trans tweets and things like that. It's just not going to end well for you.
Oh, see, that's different with her though, because she may have tweeted something and she may have been able to come out and say, look, I think you took what I was trying to say out of context. Maybe I didn't articulate myself properly and I didn't mean that. And this is what I meant to say. And maybe she could have done that, but then she went and wrote an essay, basically, expounding on all of her views. And there's no backing away from that. I mean, on one end, I respect what she did because she has a firm position and she's taking that position. It doesn't mean I respect what she said, but I respect the fact that she was saying, this is what I believe. And I'm putting it out there for the world so that you can either you know, you can either stand with me or against me or be or be indifferent. I don't care. I'm putting it out there. This is what I believe. So there's, but that presents a real problem for her and this property moving forward. I think because the property is so hot, I mean, let's just be real. We're in America. Money is king of all. People can say what they want. People can say that social issues matter more. They can say religious matters, matter more. All kinds of stuff. It doesn't. I mean, we've seen flat out it does not. And when you write a book, you write a series of books that sells 500 million copies, and then you make movies that net you $8 billion. I mean,
yeah,
I don't care. I don't care what your stance is. She could be a neo-Confederate that's anti-Semitic and doesn't like gay people and believes that little kids should be eaten for dinner, and they're still going to make her movies.
You're like reading my mind, because I was just about to talk about that. You're talking about all the money. The Harry Potter book series is one of the most popular of all time, with 7 books in the series having sold over 500 million copies worldwide. They were then adapted into a hit 8-film franchise, which has grossed nearly $8 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
And there also have been 2 films to date in the prequel spinoff Fantastic Beasts film series, with the third of 5 planned films due out in 2022. And if we just look at like Box Office Mojo, the first one that came out in 2001 made $1 billion off of
in 2001. That was 20. Dude, yes. that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. And let's look at like the last one, Deathly Hallows Part 2, that came out in 2011. Another 1.3 billion. So this is crazy. I can probably go through each one. How much did Goblet of Fire make? 800. Still a killing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's still freaking awesome. And the Fantastic Beast, this is the third one that they're talking about next year. These didn't do as well. These were the prequels. 654 million. That came out in 2018. And then the one that came out in 2016, 814 million worldwide. So these are money makers. But let me just go ahead and say, like me, I've seen all of the films. I've seen one Fantastic Beast, and that's the first one. I wish I was into Harry Potter, but I'm not into it. I want to be into it. I've tried to like attach myself, because I like comic book stuff, Doctor Strange, magic. This has to do with magic too. Long drawn out story, but it just hasn't grabbed me. And I remember the Deathly Hallows Part 2, I fell asleep in the theater. And I fell asleep in the theater for Fantastic Beasts. But if you were to see this, if it were to come to HBO Max, where would you want the timeline to go? Would you want it to follow to show like Daniel Radcliffe as a grown adult, and they're showing his kids too? Like, where in the timeline do you possibly want to see this before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they're going to do. I mean, if they're going to sort of remake the books again in a TV format so they can go more into depth, I mean, that would be cool too. But I kind of wouldn't mind seeing like where they bring Daniel Radcliffe's characters back, all of them back, and make them instructors. That would be dope.
Right.
That would be dope. But I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, either one. They could either bring them back as adults and make them instructors at the school, or they can go back and have all new, versions of the kids and and have maybe a 10 or 12 or even 24 episode. They're not going to do that on a film on a series like this, because the budget would be astronomical. But but even if they did like a 10 or 12 episode series where they can go more into depth, because you figure if it's an hour long, and they do one story, like, normally the one movie was one book. So if you did one series as one book, that gives you 12 hours on a 12 episode season, or 10 hours, obviously, on a 10 episode season, instead of only 2 hours. And so you can go into depth much more about the characters and who they are and what they are. And you can talk about some of the other peripheral characters a bit more. So, I'm cool with either way.
Already. Same here, man. Same here.